Whatever. It's not Halloween. Why are we talking about Halloween?
I was going to say, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, anybody who joined us last week because of Tulane now they're following
What
us,
a difference.
they're like, what the
this
hell
is what you're going to get.
am I listening to? This is not what you're going to get, except...
no, I mean the
variety.
The spectrum.
The random, like, what are we going to talk about? No, we'll talk sports, too, I guarantee it. But
I
back... Hey, yo.
What's up?
It's Who Effing Knows podcast.
Sure it is.
What episode are we on?
35.
35. As you guys can see, it's just us two tonight. We actually are a couple days late. Normally we record on like Wednesday or Thursday. It's Saturday, full disclosure. This may come out today, probably won't. You might get 2 pods this week, technically, and not have one from last week. We'll see how it goes. No guests tonight. We were working on some stuff. There might be some to come. We'll see what happens. Tonight it's just us, so welcome back to, the shit show.
So what do you want to talk about?
I was going to ask you the same thing the same way. I got nothing, man. No, I got a few things. The Pels are hot. The Pels are hot. We can jump right into that. Easter's right around the corner.
Happy Easter.
Yeah. So, there's a few things we can roll through. The draft's coming up for the Saints. Obviously, we kind of exhausted the Tulane conversation last week, but I'm happy to retouch on any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, before we jump in, Easter's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that. Y'all were dying eggs today, huh? How'd that go?
It was great, to be honest. I was a little worried. This is the first time. So, you're in the same stage as us. Last year we did the egg dying thing, and I don't know, it still felt like it was a little soon last year. This year it feels like he was like all into it, But it was I thought it would be chaos, but he was very neat. Like everything, he slowly put the eggs in the little cups, let them chill for a minute, took it out, put it in the carton, put the next one in. It's like, this is great. There was no mess.
Nice.
I mean, this is the best. This was the best Easter egg dyeing experience I've ever had in my life. No, the egg dyeing was good. The rest of the day, the egg dyeing, great. How about you? It looked like y'all were making some puzzles or something
there
in there.
Go. Yeah. First of all, I'm new to the whole subdivision thing. Living in a subdivision is.
Oh, she told me the guy came and brought some.
Yeah. So that's what I was about to get at. So I'm new to subdivision.
It's like, okay, the
guys.
guy. I don't know.
I grew up in Maddy. We were friends with our neighbors, but neighbors didn't randomly come. Well, actually, my last neighbor was awesome. He would randomly drop off deer meat and crawfish and all kinds of shit. He was great.
That's the best kind of neighbor right there.
He was fucking awesome. But neighbors didn't randomly show up with presents for kids, and it wasn't this thing where everybody wanted to hang out all the time. This subdivision life is different, and this sweet man shows up at our door today. He's got a daughter, and his daughter plays with Dylan when we go to there's a little play set not too far from here. Anyways, he shows up with a basket, and he's just like, hey, happy Easter. Here's some stuff. And I'm like, fuck me. Now I feel like an asshole because I got nothing for you. I wasn't even thinking about you.
Did you have people do that the first time you were here for Christmas and stuff? So our first year for Christmas, we got something for our 2 main neighbors, and then they didn't get us anything. We're good. You're good. It was just our first year there, so we were trying to be nice. So then the next year they got us something, and we didn't have anything for them. And we made a mistake.
Right, not the thing.
Yeah, no. Well, now I think we've all just agreed. We're good. Everybody's even. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Don't do it anymore. No, nobody did Christmas, but one thing I was excited about and was kind of cool is Halloween is pretty big in this neighborhood. Surprisingly, obviously it's a subdivision, so they're probably going to go a little harder than your random streets here and there. But everybody was outside, man. Everybody was outside. Everybody was set up in front of their garages, music blaring, freaking decorations galore. Yeah, and they did the whole booth thing.
Y'all got the perfect size neighborhood too. To make a quick lap, do what you got to do, and then come back.
And and everybody in this neighborhood's friends with each other, which I don't. Listen, I like people and I'm a social person, but I need to be able to get away from people that I like sometimes, and I can't be hanging out with my next door neighbor who's just going to show up on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. ready to drink. That's cool, but I don't want to do it every day.
Yeah.
I got to hide from you. No, but they did the whole boo thing too, which was cool for Halloween. Like they would just show up. Sorry, my daughter's trying to come interrupt the podcast. They would just show up with these little boo boxes full of candy and like other trinkets, kind of like what happened today. But it would be a surprise. So you'd open your door and it would just be sitting there and it'd be like, oh, all right. And then you could go surprise somebody else. So you didn't feel like an asshole. But yeah.
We don't do all that. I mean, we do Halloween by us, but it's not like it's not a lot of houses. So it's probably like we probably have like 3 or 4 times as many houses in our neighborhood as y'all's, and we probably have like the same amount of like if every house in your neighborhood did trick or treating, that'd probably be the amount of houses in our neighborhood. So it's not a great showing.
Well, we went to a different neighborhood, and I don't think we're going to do that next year.
Mm.
I think we're just going to stay here. But yeah,
I'm a big fan of the trunk or treat trend.
yeah,
Those are cool. They
Yeah.
never did those when I was a kid.
yeah. My son's school did that, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they do it at the daycare. We actually did one at work last year. I was working for it, so I was just there, like watching all the families come. But I like that. That's a fun trend. You don't have to go walk around the neighborhoods and everything. Whatever. It's not Halloween. Why are we talking about Halloween?
I was going to say, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, anybody who joined us last week because of Tulane, now they're following
what
us.
a difference.
They're like, what the
this
hell
is what you're gonna get.
am I listening to? This is not what you're going to get, except
No, I mean the
variety,
spectrum
the
of-
random, like, what are we going to talk about? No, we'll talk sports too, I guarantee it. But
I
back
don't.
back to the Easter thing. Do y'all have any major plans, or is there anything you do every year other than the egg dyeing? Like we don't ever do anything. So I'm
No, we
curious.
just go to my grandma's, go to her mom's. That's really it. We used to do at my grandma's, like Easter was always my grandma's got a pool and that's where everybody goes swimming. So like we used to do a tradition was like Easter Day was the first day everybody got in the pool for the first time.
Hell
like
yeah.
hot, cold. It was a thing. Like you were prepared to do it.
It's
So
60 degrees, get in the damn
Yeah,
pool.
that just kind of faded away. So I don't know what happened with that. But no, just go hang out. And her dad's doing some crawfish tomorrow, so that's always great.
Hell yeah.
no.
That's the move.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just become the thing for everybody every year now. Like that's what we're doing too, and that's
Yeah.
what I've done the last few years for Easter. We always just boil crawfish.
Yeah, I think my grandma's talked about like in the next few years or so, like moving out this way. And I think once that happens, we might start hosting Easter like at our house. And because it's gotten smaller. We used to have everybody in the family at her house. And it's gotten
I think
way
we talked about this.
Yeah,
no?
it's gotten much smaller. So I think we might start hosting it. I don't know. I'd like to make a little tradition out of it now, but it ain't nothing special. Easter's not the biggest holiday for us.
No, I mean it's not for us either, other than the sense of like, we're anybody who's followed me before or heard me in like the first 2 podcasts knows we're pretty religious. So tomorrow's gonna be a church day. Like we'll do that whole thing. And then really just outside of that, just for any holiday, Easter included, it's just spending time with family. Like that's the
Yeah.
big thing. Big family man.
Same here.
So that's what we'll do. My daughter is speaking of family, my daughter, it's early. We're recording earlier than we normally do, so she's not in bed. And she keeps coming to the back door, and now she's like just blowing spit because she's angry. She's like mad that I won't let her come outside. So have kids. It's fun.
She's the best.
She is amazing. Anyways, on to other fun. Let's talk about some fun stuff. No, actually, yeah, we're gonna talk fun stuff. There's one thing we should address
Go for
before the fun stuff.
it. I would follow you anywhere.
I fucking love it. This man showed up 4 beers deep, ready to just do whatever the hell I say, and I got nothing. So this is gonna be a ride.
You got nothing, and it's somehow more than I came with.
That's all right. We make it work. This is what I do for a living. Zion is still not back. Twitter surprisingly hasn't made as much of a fuss as I thought they would. But the negativity's still out there. Do you have thoughts? I haven't talked to you about it yet. Normally we'll talk about this stuff as it comes, but
Well, I think I've made my thoughts clear on it for a while that I've been assuming he's not playing again. That's how I've looked at it. I was like, from day one, not day one, but once he had that setback, I was like, he's not going to play again. And that's just been what I've been telling myself. That way, if he does play again, it's just a nice little surprise. But if this keeps happening, then I'm good. I'm like, I expected it. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of did. like at least the people I follow, it seems like everybody was kind of like, yeah, we know, but at the same time, we're all on the same page. Like some clarity of what is actually going on would be nice. Some transparency.
It does. It definitely does feel disappointing that, not to say Griff, but just in general, the PR from the team consistently has just been somewhat lacking. Like you never really know what's going on. And I mean, like, granted, like they don't have to tell us. They don't have to, but it always comes across as weird. Like something else is happening that they're hiding instead of it just being what it is.
Yeah, just what they did. Yeah, was it yesterday or the day before? Whatever it was, that original thing where everybody was like, that wasn't an update.
Yeah, you could have just said, hey, we have nothing. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, so like we always joke about, oh, he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. At least that's an update.
Right.
Like at least we know, hey, he's not ready. This was more like.
This was a fucking shrug.
This was like, we don't know. Do you know? We don't know.
We got no idea. Then we have to hear from Shams what's actually going on. Which, I mean, I guess, that was clarity. So thanks.
When he said that, he was like, he won't be ready for the play-in. Yeah, no shit. Like, when he put that out, I was like,
a week away. Of course not.
I read a tweet and was like, yeah, he's not going to be back for the play-in. I could have did that.
Yeah. No, I think the most recent update I saw is that it's even doubtful that he would play in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, which obviously, I mean, that's pretty soon. So, it is what it is. I mean, I think the weird thing about it is the reasoning for it is that it's just kind of a feel thing, right? Like it's just like there's nothing wrong. He's progressing fine, but it just doesn't feel right. It's like, all right, the vibes are off. That's where we're going.
Yeah. I would like to know who is the one deciding he's not playing. Is this an organization thing? Is it? I'd love to just hear from Zion. That was my whole issue last year. Was he was quiet. He didn't say anything, and then people ran wild with all the takes, whatever. And I was just hoping that he would somewhat learn from that. And I mean, I don't even know what I want him to say.
What can he say?
I don't know, but it's just like I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just the silence is, I don't know, in a way. And it's not even me saying like, oh, he's trying to hide. Like part of me is wondering if it's like the organization, like, hey, don't say anything. Like
that's
trying to
what I'm wondering.
To hold him back, and I don't like that. Like I would rather him come out and be like, "Yeah, I want to play, but these fuckers won't let me."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's really what I want him to come out and say. I want to know that it's not him not wanting to play.
Yeah, and
which I don't think it is.
I was gonna say at first I thought I really don't know what to think because I was trying to read between the lines, and between the original report, which was no report, and then the next thing that came out, it was basically like he doesn't feel right. There's nothing wrong. He didn't have a setback, but he doesn't feel right. Then I was like, so are you telling us that he's not ready? Like, are you saying he doesn't want to play? But I don't think he's the type of person to do that. So
right. When I read that, I was like, my first reaction was like, so you're telling me he went through practice and was like, nah,
yeah,
I'm not good. Like, I don't believe that. In my head, I'm like, to me, Zion seems like which I mean we may not know, like we're all just outside looking in. He seems like we said a couple weeks ago, the Mike Thomas type, where it's like if I can walk, I'm playing. You know,
right.
Especially playoffs after he's been saying how he hated having to watch that last year. I have a hard time believing that it's him. I feel like he told them like, yeah, I'm a little sore or a little whatever he said. I'm a little tight. He's not even sore. That's why I'm like, what?
That's what doesn't make sense. They clearly, the fact that they came out and clearly said he's not, he has no setbacks, he has no soreness, he has no tightness. Like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right.
And
I'm like,
is it a thing where they feel like he's like hesitant to do the things he's holding back? Like a mental wall he's trying to break? Like, I don't know.
So I think that there, and I'm kind of going off the rails here, but I was reading, I forget who tweeted it, but there was someone who was talking through, like, they go through their conditioning tests in the beginning of the season, and then if they have an injury, then during their rehab process, they always compare them to their, like, previous test results or whatever, and things aren't aligning in the way that they would like to see. I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah.
So is he just not as in shape? Of course not. He's been sitting around not playing basketball. Like, let him. There's a whole nother argument to be had there. Like, protect your asset, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I also think that you can play yourself back into shape. Now, a hamstring, you could do the back and forth all day, right?
But here's the thing, and this is what makes it such a big deal. We ain't talking about him coming back for game 45 in the season.
That's true.
If this happened week 2 of the season and we're mid-season right now, we're like, all right, hold off when you're 100%, let's go. Like, we talking about we need to win these 2 games or we're not, or at least one game, or we're not even in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you can go, like, you telling me you can't give me 10, 15 minutes and see how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that throws things off. I don't know. But
Well, that's a whole nother discussion.
yeah.
You know, that's
well, I told you that too. I was like, I don't know how I feel about just throwing him into things. Are like, this is the best. Granted, the teams have been lackluster that we've played against. The good teams haven't played their guys, but the offense, there's no matter your level of competition, you can tell when offense just flows better. You know what I mean? So the offense seems like it's flowing. BI's in a nice groove right now. Herb's back to being like the best offensive Herb we've seen.
Yeah.
Trey is like 2 weeks away from being in that max player conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
So, this brought up that's a good transition because that's something I wanted to talk about, and that was the fun thing I was talking about. So I went to the Pels game last night. Awesome game. Trey killed it. It was fucking amazing. I'm with 2 of my buddies, and the running joke the whole time is they were calling Brandon Ingram a superstar, and I kept joking, and I'm like, listen, I love Brandon Ingram. You guys are gonna make me sound like a Brandon Ingram hater. I think he's a part-time superstar. Like he's a star in his right.
If we need to win this game, I'm a superstar. Superstar.
Yeah, right.
2 years in a row, the last month of the season, he's turned up and been a superstar.
So, but what I'm getting at, going back to Trey, is that we were having that conversation, like joking, going back and forth, and then Trey Murphy just continuously, play after play, is putting on a show, and they're like, "Is Trey Murphy a superstar?" And I looked at him and I was like, honestly, if he keeps doing this, like he's right now, no, absolutely not. I was like, but if he plays like this and you're seeing him develop the ability to shoot off the dribble, like you're seeing him develop in so many areas.
From game to game.
It's insane.
It's quick.
And
Dude, this year 1 to year 2 jump is nuts.
It's
like,
crazy. I genuinely don't have words. All I know is give him the damn ball.
Dude, right now, he's the second best player on the team.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's not,
I don't know about play, like overall player, but scorer for sure.
Considering CJ's hurt, and I think it's kind of affecting. Granted, CJ's been pretty good too for what he's dealing with, but I don't know. It's Brandon, number 1 right now. He is on that level.
For sure.
That pass he made to Herb, by the way, crazy. And then I think it's Trey. Like, Trey is the guy right now. I think the offense should be running through Trey almost.
It should. They should definitely be setting up more plays for him, and they were last night. They were definitely setting some things up for him. Just it's so much fun to see. I mean, you know, obviously his shot was there, and then you start to see his ability to put it on the floor and attack when people close out on him. But now even more than that, it's the in-between game that you're starting to see.
Dude, that one where he caught at like the corner 3, did the little like behind the back spin off the glass. I was like, oh, we're doing that now.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. All right, Trey.
I was like, I did not know you had handles like that.
It's just nasty. And one of my buddies is like every Trey Murphy play, he looks at me again. And I'm like, dude, I got nothing. I just want to keep seeing it. It's exciting. Yeah, and I love it.
It's beyond the shot now. Now the shot now is like, if he pulls it, I'm thinking, like, I'm shocked when it doesn't go in at this point. It's all the other stuff where I'm like, and not even like just the drive into the basket, because he always was able to drive to the basket. But now, like you're saying, he's throwing some dribble moves in there. He had a little back to the basket game. I'm like, I don't know where this wasn't there a week ago. Like, you're telling me from there to here, you got that much better?
I think, it could be one of those things too. You always see it like pregame warmups. You see these guys do stuff that like I could never do. Oh, and they never do it in the game because they don't have the confidence to try that shit in the game. What I was about to say. I think that could be
that's the key word there. Like, when you're pulling from 30 feet and just not missing, like, and he's hitting them where the net doesn't move, consistently. So he's operating on like another level confidence wise. So like you're saying, he's just like, you know what, I got this in my bag in practice. Why not?
Yeah,
you know,
try it. It worked against Willie Hernan Gomez. Let me see if I could do it. Love Billy. I'm a Billy stan.
Oh,
Don't take that as disrespect. No. Anyways, so playoffs, play in. I admittedly I wanted to do a little more research because I was under the impression that the Pelicans had the tiebreaker with the Clippers and the Lakers, but I think I may be mistaken.
I knew we didn't have it with the Lakers.
Okay. That's got to be what it is.
I know we don't have it with the Lakers, only because every time they've won and we've had the same record, they've been ahead of us. The Clippers, you might be right.
I think I read something to where if it's a three-way tie,
We should have it over the Warriors,
then the
right?
Pelicans have it. I think we do. But the Warriors, we're not going to catch the Warriors.
No. Well,
We're not going to catch the Warriors. Anyways, what else getting at?
they can still get the 5th seed somehow.
They
I don't
can.
even understand it.
Do you First of all, I want to pick at you a little bit. I was going to ask you a question, but first I'm going to pick at you. Remember that tweet where you said the Pelicans weren't going to make the playoffs?
Does the play-in count?
I think so. Maybe not. Even if it doesn't, I'm still saying they're going to make the playoffs. So maybe I won't toot my own horn yet. We'll wait.
I mean, I've told you that I'm a little more confident, but listen, me saying they're not has worked.
Yeah, just keep
so
keep
I'm gonna
ignoring
roll
them.
with it.
Keep
You know,
only watch.
they
at the
won't
end of
make the
game.
playoffs, and they definitely won't upset whoever they play in the first round.
There you go.
I don't
We're just
know.
going to clip that one part, and we're going to put it all over the place.
That's fine.
There you go. Hot take.
We with no context, nobody's good. Everybody's thinking I'm just a hater, but we
Yeah.
understand what's happening
You're
here.
such a fucking hater.
I mean, let's be honest. When I said that, you like the people saying they would make the playoffs were the ones looking crazy.
In the minority, yeah. I think it was me and the sports drink dude were the only
But you
people
see,
on Twitter that were
but
just like
it-
unapologetically.
It goes back to the
Fucking-
Zion thing. I always I'm setting my expectations low. That way I can only be surprised in a good way. It's the same thing. Like, we're not talking about Saints, but this is what I do with the Saints last year, where I was like, my expectations are so low that there's no way they can possibly. You know what I mean?
I think so. I it's funny that you put it like that. I basically do the same thing,
Yeah.
but I don't outwardly do it.
And it's not
like,
even like being a pessimist. It's just like
It's like
I think I'm a realist. Is how I look at it.
even when I said they're definitely making the playoffs, in my head it was like, man, I fucking hope this happens. But outwardly, I was like, you know what? We're gonna manifest this shit. We're gonna put so much
Yeah.
positive vibes into the universe. Like that's just how I work. I'm like,
And I can be on the other end. We just balance each other out. It works out well.
but I do the same shit with the Saints. Like just talking about them, how you just mentioned it. Like you heard me last year. I was hating on Dennis Allen randomly, but let somebody bring him up in a conversation. That's my dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be overly positive about him, about Pete, about everybody until I'm not.
Yeah. So, like, talking about the playoffs, and I was talking to somebody about this last night. So if they can get the 6th seed,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
is it either 5th or 6th has to play the Suns, right, in round 1. And in my head, I'm like, I don't think I want that. Like, I
Right.
think I would rather take my chances with the Nuggets or Memphis, whoever's 1-2 right now. Even the Kings. Like, I would rather play the Kings as good as they looked and as bad as they beat us the other day. I would rather the Kings in the first round than have to deal with the Suns, who haven't lost a game with the new lineup playing. So
The Suns are gonna be tough no matter
the
what.
Suns are tough, man. And I'm like, it's such a terrible matchup. I'm like, you know what? The play-in doesn't sound too bad if you get 7, 8, and have to deal with. Dude, I mean, the Nuggets probably beat us, but of those top teams, I think the Nuggets are the one that I'd like our chances against the most. If we had Zion, I'd like our chances with Memphis, but
Yeah. Well, see, this is where I had a pessimistic thought there. I don't know if I should share it. You're gonna get me to be the pessimist.
Put it on the table.
What's the goal? I guess that's the question, right? Like, are we realistically?
The goal. All right. Well, so the goal.
Do you want to
like-
win a playoff series? I mean, yes, you want to win a playoff series. But like,
yeah.
what's the goal?
If you're making the playoffs, then the goal is it's unrealistic. The goal, if you make the playoffs, should be to go all the way.
Well, of course, but I'm talking being realistic here. They're not going
I
to win
think-
the finals. That's
no,
not happening.
No, the goal should be to go
Clip
another
that.
step from what you did last year to get out of the first round.
Okay.
Honestly, the goal to this point shouldn't even be to be in the play-in. It should have been. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. Now, granted, injuries, whatever. Your goal should have been, all right, we were a play-in team last year. This year, we should be somewhere middle of the pack in the West, and we should get out of the first round, at least.
Yeah.
Like your goal should be progress. Like if you look at Memphis, we talk about how they kind of mirror us in a way, where last year they kind of took everybody by surprise. This year they were like, all right, we should be here, and
Right.
they hit that goal.
Yeah.
So, I think that should be the Pels should be that, not to that extent. Granted, we were the 1 seed when healthy.
Right.
You should be like, all right, the next step is second round.
Yeah.
And then once you get that first series win, then your expectation should be.
I mean, I agree. My first thought is it obtainable? And I like, do I think we can win a playoff series? Yes.
Well,
Is it
before you go any
realistic?
further, what I was going to ask was, are you saying what are the expectations as the roster sits currently?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, because I'm moving forward as if Zion
okay,
is not
so
returning.
yeah, I mean, still, what you want make it out of the play-in 100%. Then I don't know if you to at least look like you belong like you did last year. I think is fair,
Right.
but
I think that's what I want.
when I say win a series, if Zion were to come back somehow for the first round,
Mhm.
then I think your goal, no matter who you play, should be win the series.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. And listen, when it comes time, when that playoff series starts, you're not going to hear what I'm about to say come out of my mouth. I'm going to be ride or die, and I'm going to swear we're going to win that series. But what I'm about to say is the team we've seen,
Pels
even
and foe.
Huh?
Pels and foe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're going to hear. I'm going to be crazy. But the team we've seen, even the 8-2 team that we've seen, that everybody, if you just look at the record, is going to be like, oh, man, they're playing very well. That team is not that great. Like, I don't see them winning a playoff series.
Well, no, because they play a good team in Sacramento and they get
destroyed.
waxed.
They played the Warriors and fucking fell apart. They almost lost to who was it, Memphis? Like just collapsed. Like it seems like it just doesn't go well when they actually play a real playoff caliber team.
Yeah, that 7-8 game against the Lakers in the play-in is concerning.
Yeah, I don't like that.
To me.
I don't like that either because the Lakers are actually a lot better.
Yeah.
Which we all saw. I mean, we said that at the trade deadline. Like,
I mean,
we knew they were going to be a real team.
Give
at that
AD is playing out of his mind
mm-hmm.
right now, So, yeah, I don't like that. But I'm with you. Anytime they've played a competent team, it's not looked great. Still think they should be good enough to get out of the play-in.
You should be. I mean, you should end up as 7 or 8 seed, like regardless.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, who's 9 and 10? Minnesota and
the Thunder.
the Thunder.
The Thunder locked in a 10 spot.
Yeah. Minnesota would worry me.
I'm not too worried about. I mean, either one of those teams could beat us because it's happened. But
Yeah.
you should.
That's
beat those
the
teams.
thing, right?
You
It's
should.
a one game thing,
Right.
which the Pels can beat anybody on a one game
Yeah, it's
thing,
true.
but they also can be that team where we're like, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Which you've seen way too often.
Exactly.
That's what my concern is.
Which is
like I watched some
the
games
team
and it's
that
like,
got us in the play-in position to begin with.
Right. It's tough. But and so we could put a bow on this. There's one last thought I have. Looking back, like if the season ended right now, say we made the playoffs, we're out in the first round, whatever, or say we lose in the play-in, is it a success, all things considered?
No, it's not. I think. I know it's hard to say. It's hard to say no because you were without your superstars for 50, or your star and your superstar, if you want to go there,
Part-time star.
for 50% of the season. But coming into the season, we all sat here and said, which if you go on Twitter now, it's nobody believes in the depth of the team, but we all were saying how deep this team was. When the team was great at the beginning of the year, everybody loved the depth the team had, right? We loved Dyson. We loved everybody. We all of a sudden hate for whatever reason.
I don't get that.
Yeah. So that's a whole other conversation. The Dyson conversation is a different conversation.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that. I don't get it.
But we were at the point where we're like, this team is we were deep enough that I think you had your players enough. I'm trying to think about how I want to word this. It's not that they lost the games to me, right? It's the way they were losing.
Mm-hmm.
They just looked incompetent. Like, they looked like a team that didn't know what they were doing. Coaching looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Players looked like they didn't even want to be out there. Like, that is a disappointment because we preached, you got this culture that we got all of a sudden, you know what I mean? None of that existed. Granted, it's hard to keep it up when you're losing, but they look so bad that I think it's a failure. Not even looking at the record specifically of that stretch.
So that's the silver lining, though, right? Because that's if you take a step back from the season, you don't look. There was some miserable losses. Right. There was some very head scratching. How the hell does this happen? Type losses. Where you're right. I mean, they looked like they had zero basketball IQ. Like, it was frustrating. But if you just take a step back and you look at the record, they've improved without their superstar.
Right, but it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. What was your goal at the beginning of the season?
No, I know.
You know, but the thing that makes it tough is injuries, because it's hard to, and like this goes when people start talking about needing to change up a coaching staff and stuff. It's so hard to evaluate anything when you're not just forget that you had injuries to Larry at one point, Jose at one point. You know, Jose's been out. Dyson was out right when he was getting hot. Like, your guys, your two guys that this team are built around, and then even your third guy is playing with an injured shooting hand,
right,
and needs surgery. So it's so hard to that question. It's hard to answer, really, because it's a success considering what you had to overcome, but when you look back at where you thought you were supposed to be. And you see, when I was looking at the goals at the beginning of the year, I assumed both of them would miss time. Not this much time.
Not this much time.
But you assume that both of them are going to miss time because it's just what they do. And I don't know. It feels like I'm just going off a gut feeling. It feels like a disappointment.
Yeah, whereas last year felt like a major success.
Yeah.
Even though it was
this feels like even if they did the same exact thing this year, won the play-in, took whoever 6 games, 7 games, whatever it was, it still feels like a disappointment. It just doesn't it's crazy that they make it that far considering what they dealt with. But at the same time, this is the team from last year.
Yeah.
So this team should be able to do what they did last year and go further. Oh, God.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
All right. We're good. That was almost bad. So in case you guys didn't know, which I know you didn't because we didn't tell you, we have 2 new box lights.
I could totally edit that out. You don't even have to explain it.
Oh, all right, fuck it. Screw y'all. You don't need to know nothing.
I don't even know that they saw that. They just saw you jump up.
Oh, yeah. Light fell. We almost got taken out. It's fine.
Anyway.
Shit, I lost my train of thought, too. I had a thought. Yeah, I don't know. We can close that out. Move on to another topic. We have a series we're going to start doing here.
Do we?
Through the Kneaux. Not specifically us, but through the Kneaux. Where we're doing a magazine cover.
Oh,
and we're going to have a feature.
Where are you going with
this? He's like, what the hell is this? We're gonna
is
have
this a new game we're playing?
We should play a game. You got any games you want to play?
I don't have any games.
We'll figure something out. But we're going to have a featured player of the month, basically, every month. This month, I don't know if you guys have seen already, it's Tyjae Spears. So we're going to, I guess strategically or, whatever, methodically, whatever. We're going to release different things, kind of spotlighting Tyjae and going through that. But
yeah, this is the first month, so I'm willing to bet as we do this more things will come out with the future people, just because we're trying to gauge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work.
And we got a lot of new things we're talking about doing, so just a lot of shit going on.
Well, I figured now was a good time to kind of talk through that because we didn't have a lot going on. Yeah. It's kind of, we could exhaust the NFL draft talk, which we've already done a little bit.
Yeah, we could save that a real draft conversation for a couple weeks.
Right. There's some baseball talk we want to do, but I think we're talking about getting with someone else and bringing them in and actually having a real good conversation there. So
there's a whole baseball world that we're trying to create.
Right.
I'm trying to create. I'm pushing for it.
Yeah. Shout out to the Angels for just being the Angels.
I was going to reply to you earlier because you tweeted that, it's funny at this point every time they post a stat like that. They're in second place. Actually, today they're in first place in our conference. Yeah.
Good for them.
Because they're in the same division as the Rangers. They were tied for first. The Rangers lost today. So, I don't know if the Angels are playing right now or not. But as it stood at like 4 or 5 o'clock, the Angels would be in first place.
Give it time.
They're like 4-3, but,
Give it time. But no, so we got some baseball stuff coming. But I wanted to circle back. to the Tajay thing and the featured thing. Probably gonna have some merch coming out with that. I think like we're gonna do a couple different things. So if there's anything you guys want to see, obviously let us know.
Yeah, we got some stuff made. Patty ordered it to see how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We just kind of throw shit together and see what it looks like.
We do. But speaking of Tajay, he's moving up. He's moving up the draft more, man. I saw the other day he's projected as a second-round pick now, which is just killing me because the Saints are probably not going to get him.
Yeah, I don't see him.
But fucking good for him, man. Like it's exciting to see. Just the
as much as I'd love for him to be a Saint, like if somebody wants to take him early second round, mid second, please, like legitimize what we've seen for the whole season, because we talked about it. He's running back 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah.
He's
I don't know. We've exhausted that conversation, but we do need to touch on it again, and we will circle back to it soon.
Hey, shout out to Dorian. Did you see him on? He was on Good Morning Football the other day.
I did see that. I saw you share it.
Yeah, that's cool. That he looked like he just was a vet in there talking, so that was cool. The fact that they just of all the players they could pull, they pulled him. So that's good right there.
Oh yeah. I also saw. I think Dorian shared it, or somebody shared it. So one of the Tulane guys shared it. Nick Anderson. I'm saying that right? Yeah, Nick Anderson. Yeah, I was like, shit. I just had a you ever have like your brain just goes blank and you're like, wait, did I say something stupid that's just wrong? Which I do all the time, so bear with me. I saw a tweet where he was like PFF score, obviously, which some people put stock into it, some don't. Mm-hmm. He was like a top 5 linebacker through the last 4 years of college. Like, and he's not even being talked about.
Yeah. Well, that's what Maddy was. It goes to what Maddy was saying. The two of them together, like you can't mention Dorian without mentioning Nick, and you can't mention Nick without mentioning. The way we have talked about Dorian, we probably should be talking about him the same way.
It's crazy. I think, and we're talking about something we just talked about last week, but it's just they have different play styles, and I think Dorian's play style fits more with what guys are looking for right now in the NFL, which whatever. But Nick is going to be one of those guys that's going to come in and just like shock the world, I think. Probably make a roster, stick somewhere, fight for playing time, and then randomly he'll just be a guy that's racking up tackles left and right, and you'll be like, where the hell did this guy come from?
Yeah.
We'll see. Manifestation.
Yeah. I had something happen to me at the store today. I want to know if you can relate to it.
Okay, let's talk.
This is our non-sports section for you new people. But I was going to say we are the official pod of tall guys that get asked by short people at the store to grab things off the top shelf. Does that happen to you often at the store? Because it's happened to me 3 times this week. Sometimes so to be fair, sometimes it's me offering. Like I could see somebody. There was a little old lady the other day in a scooter, and I was like, "Let me grab it." She was like, "Nah, I'm good." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "I'll be happy to grab it." I said, "Okay."
Good for you.
Keep it moving.
Yes, it does happen. It doesn't happen a lot, and I love it because it's never like it's always the sweet little old lady. Always. I'm like the 60-year-old, little short, like, hey, can you help me? I'm like, absolutely, I can help you. What do you need?
I was walking in Walmart today, and like at the entrance, you know how they got the little pot flowers at the entrance. So I don't know. You shop at Walmart, you're kind of bougie. You more of a Target guy?
I'm definitely more of a Target guy.
So I was at Walmart today, and I'm walking in. And
Target has Starbucks in it. What you hate Starbucks? Anyways, continue.
Yeah, you threw me off just then. So I'm literally about to walk in, and she's got like her son or grandson, I don't know, he's a teenager, like struggling to reach it, like he can touch it, and she was like, "Oh, you're not tall enough," and I'm like there, I'm literally right next to him. I'm like, do you need one? Like, you need you need me to grab it? She was like, if you could grab 2, that would be great. Like, well, I could grab 1, so obviously I could grab 2.
She wanted 2 because
So I
she didn't
just-
want to have to wait.
I gave it. She's like, good to know there's some tall people in this world. Like, yeah.
It's my fucking grandson.
Yeah. Right.
She's like throwing shade at her grandchild right in front of him.
Yeah. That happened today. Happens to me all the time. Literally 3 times this week it's happened to me.
I love it.
Just that's life, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to drag this out and have awkward conversations about shit that I don't even.
No, I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about, but obviously not that important if I can't think about it.
Let's
you know?
play a game.
Okay.
Rapid fire questions. All right. I'm gonna ask a question and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
This has the potential to go so south, but okay. Here we go.
Favorite bubblegum flavor?
The icebreakers, it's raspberry sorbet.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Best pizza?
Like best pizza place.
Whatever. First thing that comes to your head.
I'm gonna say Domino's because just of like if I'm gonna just come home one night and be like, yeah, I want to order some pizza, Domino's. Specifically like the garlic parmesan sauce at Domino's.
Nice. Okay. Okay. 2 more. Waffle fries or steak fries?
Steak fries.
All right.
Probably depends on the scenario, but steak fries.
Okay. You don't like seafood, right? You like seafood?
I
should know this.
like
about you.
shrimp, crawfish.
Okay. I'm trying to think. There's got to be a good one out there that I can throw at you real quick, and we'll just close this shit out. Steak or
Yes.
or slow down. Steak or brisket.
Steak.
Oh, fucking.
Listen. I love brisket, but now I'm thinking of all the scenarios. It's a hell of a lot more work to cook a brisket. I can cook a good steak in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, we can be like, hey, steaks, come home. We can be ready to go with a fire-ass steak in 10 minutes.
That's fair. That's
But-
it. Yeah. Great reasoning.
Yeah, no, granted, brisket is great, but you're talking about, what, 12, 15 hours sometimes if you want to, like, smoke a brisket?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Oh, it could take a while.
Ain't
16
nothing worth
16
15 hours, bro.
Yeah.
You like to cook, so I'm sure you know what a sous vide is.
Mhm.
I have one. I did a roast one time in there.
Yeah.
24 hours. When I tell you that shit was not worth it, it was good. Comes out like a prime rib almost.
Yeah.
It was great. But it sat on my counter for a whole day, and I'm like, no, never again.
The first time I ever saw a sous vide, I was working at a tech company that I had just started with, and it was like I was just learning all these new things about life. Like these people just did things differently than what I was used to. Listen, I grew up. I joke about this all the time, but like nostalgia for me is like the smell of cigarettes
I'm
in
from
the morning.
Chalmette. You
Like,
ain't gotta
it's
explain it to me,
like,
buddy.
I'm just saying, like every morning at 6 a.m. you hear the Zippo lighter flip open and you smell Marlboro Reds.
We
like,
grew up fishing in canals.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But anyway, so I started this company and they're just doing things different. Like they had an espresso machine and I was like, what is
you
this?
know what? It all makes sense now. Now we see.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And one day somebody comes in and they're like, hey, I got a sous vide. We're doing, some brisket or I forget what it was, some meat. And they just start like gushing over like how amazing of a technique to cook with that is. And like, it's going to come out so good. And I'm like, so you're cooking it in water? Like you're boiling it? Like what?
So the first, I did it at me and one of my buddies at work. Every weekend we cook something. And when I first got mine, I did the same thing. I was like, hey, I'm going to bring this. I was like, you ever had it cooked like this before? He's like, no. It's like, all right, I'm bringing it. We're going to cook a steak like this. And I'm gonna it's great. It's probably the best way to cook a steak just because it's so tender.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had the same reaction. He's like, are you boiling my steak right now?
That's how I was like, Dad, it's going to be terrible.
It
like,
comes out when you take it out of for anybody who hasn't done it, when you take a sous vide steak or anything out of the water, it looks like it just looks like you stuck it in the microwave, and it's like just this ugly ass meat until you actually
Sear it.
Yeah.
Give it a little color and char.
He said the same reaction. He's like, "You fucking boiling my meat right now?"
I was in shock, but it damn sure came out good. I give him credit. I've actually never used that technique. I've never bought one. Listen, if I'm gonna cook something for 16 or 20 hours, it's gonna be on the smoker.
Steak is an hour, so it ain't too bad.
Okay.
I didn't buy it. Somebody bought it for me. It was on my wedding registry. Somebody got it for me, and that's it. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Like, whatever, man.
Yeah, honestly, my steaks, I kind of do it the same way, but I don't do sous vide. I do like reverse sear, basically. So I just cook it low and slow for a little bit, and then sear that bitch and call it a day. And it's phenomenal. That's it. That's all we got.
I got nothing.
That was a fun way to close it, though.
Everything else I wanted to talk about was baseball. I've been wanting to talk baseball for weeks, so I'm just holding off.
I do too. There's actually like 3 or 4 topics, not even like actual season stuff right now, just like baseball in general that we should launch into. But we'll do that coming soon. Tulane plays LSU this week. Roll wave.
Didn't know that, but always roll wave.
I just wanted to call it out before we log off here.
Yeah.
Until next time, who effing knows? Follow me at VPattyV.
At the Dave Rainey.
Yeah. Podcast is everywhere, literally everywhere you can find a podcast. YouTube specifically, we're starting to do some shorts, which is cool.
Yeah.
Dave's been doing a great job of just like chopping things up to let you guys ingest shorter videos. I know nobody wants to sit and watch something for 45 minutes unless it's us. And then
Also, now that they can hear us better, shout out to Bar Revs again for letting us record there last week. Shout out to Maddy again for coming on. That was actually a pretty big hit.
Yeah,
it's already our most viewed.
It was a lot of fun, too.
Episode, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. She's great. Maybe we'll get her back one day. We got to reach back out to her and do some stuff anyway that we talked about. So, and there's some other guests we're trying to get on. So don't want to say any names because we don't want to jinx anything.
Other guests, other pods.
Other pods. There's some things we're working on. So hopefully we continue to grow here. Everybody that's followed us, likes us, interacts with us, we really appreciate it. Keep it up. We're just 2 guys shooting the shit, and hopefully it's entertaining. But follow at Be in the Know as well, and that's it.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, later, guys.
Deuces.